He had no business burying me like that. Okay. I like doing comedy. I like doing it a lot. It'll take you places you might never have been before, like bars, swingers clubs, golf courses. One of my last gigs was actually on a golf course. I got booked to heckle and roast people teeing off at a golf outing benefiting the Disabled American Veterans Organization, which I was honored to be a part of, right? But what ended up happening was I spent about 3 hours telling guys with prosthetic legs their shoes were untied. I was like, hey, bud, you leave your shoes untied for good luck, Sorry, Thank you for your service. But then they gave speeches after that about the DAV organization and all the help they do for veterans. I was like, man, I feel bad about what I just did. I want to give some of this money back, right? And luckily, they had a raffle. And I asked 2 separate people. I was like, hey, I know I'm working. Nobody likes me anymore. But am I eligible for raffle tickets? And they both said, yeah. So I got some raffle tickets. But then after winning both a signed Peyton Manning jersey and an electric scooter, I still went home and asked ChatGPT, does this count as stolen valor? Thank God it said no, right? I don't want to be on the other side of one of those YouTube videos. But I know enough about economics to know there's no such thing as a free scooter, right? Milton Friedman said that, right? So what am I giving up by accepting this scooter in my life? Well, first, my peace of mind, right? This thing's been like a Trojan horse, but instead of being filled with hot Greek sleepy guys, it's just filled with the worst version of myself, Like, there's a lot of judgment being thrown around now, at me and from me. Like, I'll be riding it on the cultural trail, and there's like bikers and joggers that think I'm cheating. And then I get home and all my neighbors think the rent's going up. And I get it, because I'm riding this thing with my backpack and my helmet, and I look like I work for Salesforce. I look like I'm dating a chat bot. I get it. But so the way I've been trying to counter this is whenever I feel those judgmental eyes when I'm riding it, I just yell out, I won it in a raffle. Thing is, it's so dang fast, all they hear is, I won, Like we're in a race they didn't know about. So I'm doing that out on the streets, and I get home, I see a Lime scooter. My first thought is poor, right? These damn renters, right? That's not me talking, that's the scooter talking. And I don't know why it's tearing me apart from my neighbors, We can barely afford the same rent, The same motorcycle races wake us up in the middle of the night. And then we all have a hard time falling back asleep thinking about living across the street from a cemetery means most of our neighbors are dead. Yeah, I'm a man without a country, Pedestrians want me in the street, cars want me on the sidewalk. There's no off-road tires, so those are my 2 options. It sucks. I don't know if it's worth it, because I've saved money parking downtown, but I had to sell the Peyton Manning jersey to pay my electric bill. That's tough. This thing's got me living outside my means, The scooter, it has cruise control. My truck doesn't have cruise control. It has crank windows and a tape deck. The truck. The scooter's got Bluetooth. Right? I don't have any health insurance. I don't have any Grey Poupon, I'm just pretty good at manifesting. When the raffle was going on, I was just telling everybody around me, you just have to act like it's already yours and it'll come right to you. And I do believe that. I do. But I wish I didn't. I wish that weren't true, you know? Because, like, I used to have this vision of when I died, it was going to be in a little house on the prairie surrounded by my grandkids. And now I'm just worried it's going to be on the hood of a Nissan Altima. Just bleeding out, mumbling to nobody in particular. I won it in a raffle. All right. Hey, I appreciate your time. I've been Duncan Kissinger.
Hey, keep making noise for Duncan Kissinger, everybody. Let him hear it.